Hey everybody, John Hiley here with another episode of PDR Tool Time. Chilling here with Vince D'Alessandro, Daniel Grom, Big Mike Toledo, and Mr. Kevin Halewood. So this has been a really anticipated show. I mean, we've really enjoy having Kevin on here. And any of you guys that don't know who he is the owner of the Mobile Tech Expo. So everybody out there who has heard the multiple episodes that we talk about the Mobile Tech Expo, I think Daniel has given it as a tech tip before, like go there. And we're all talking about how much fun we have there. We talk about Vinny, Mr. Do things bad that are bad there at the Mobile Tech Expo. We talked about other bad stuff that happened at the Mobile that was funny, little funny things like the guy who, I won't even go into. I won't even go into the guy who pulled out his. No, I will not go into that at all.
Well, besides some of the shenanigans that go on at Mobile Tech Expo, there's a wealth of knowledge. So if you're a PDR technician or a detail technician or paint technician, or there's all sorts of mobile tech information at this place.
Hey, and if you're Mike Toledo, you actually get to walk around and people will be like, "Let me get your autograph, sir. Can I please have a photo, sir? Can you sign my wife's rear end, sir?" Stuff like that.
Hey, welcome, Kevin. How are you?
Welcome, Kevin.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right.
So I was excited to get you on the show because I don't think anybody's done an interview with you, have they?
No, I've done newspapers and articles and magazines, but I've not done a podcast before. This is the first. I take that back. I've done television as far as like local news stations and stuff.
Perfect.
About the show, but yeah. So that's the first.
Well, why don't you start off by telling us, for people that don't know who you are, a little bit of how you got into the industry and how Mobile Tech Expo even got started.
Well, I had worked in the airline industry for many, many years. I worked for Pan Am. I was managing director of passenger terminal services in New York, the tri-state area. And I had started a vinyl repair business on the side where we were fixing actual bags for the airline, bags that were damaged. And so the business was going well. The only problem was I was in management, and now this was a conflict. Basically, I guess it was about 1983, I then broke off and then just continued with the business. And by that time, we'd had Hertz Avis, we were doing interiors restorations, and it just grew from there. We moved down to Florida in 1985, and I had a friend up in New York, an older gentleman that had started Auto Trim and Restyling News. And that was going really well. I mean, started in 1950, I think it was. And I thought there's nothing for our industry. There was absolutely nothing out there. Although you could get a lot out of his as far as things that you could do to your business on a day-to-day basis to help your business. There was a lot of enthusiasm as far as what they were bringing out on the page. And I thought that'd be great for us. But again, there was nothing for us. And when I started, our industry was the poor second cousin. As far as like somebody doing PDR, they didn't want you anywhere near the dealership. They wanted you around the back behind the building. Guys that were doing vinyl repair or even glass repair, they didn't want the public to see them, and they would hide them in the dealership. So I decided, well, we're just going to try it and see what happens. We came out with the newspaper, and I guess it's 21 years. You can do the math, going on 22 years. And it actually took off from there. We took the paper to SEMA, and we had a company that were manufacturing car door panels. The company was called Nuteriors, and we made door caps. Went to SEMA, and I had this instructional newspaper on how to install the parts. They were similar to like a dash caps and cover lays and those, only for just door panels.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
And I came back from SEMA, and again, it was only for our company. It wasn't anywhere else, but some newspapers had picked it up. A TV crew did. And when we got home, we had requests for like 30 advertising companies that wanted to advertise with us, 30 different companies. And that's how Mobile Tech News started.
Interesting. Wow.
Now the name, I couldn't figure out what we should call it, because I didn't want to call it PDR Times or Detailing, Digest or whatever. At that point, I felt, well, there's got to be something to unify us all, a word, a name or something. And I just figured that mobile tech, because everyone is a tech, and usually they're mobile, going from dealership to dealership or from job to job.
Sure.
And it just kind of clicked. And that was the start of Mobile Tech News. About 4 years later, we then started Detailers Digest. The show started in 2001. And again, that was in Orlando. We got to the Tupperware Center. And I'll never forget the first show that we ever did. We're driving along the highway, John Young Parkway. We pulled down towards the Tupperware Center. There's thousands of cars. And I'm like speechless. I'm like falling on the floor. I can't believe this. This is unbelievable. And as we get to the bottom of this little hill in the parking lot, the doors open and about 500 old ladies with hats on come out. And I'm thinking, oh, geez. And the guy that was directing traffic says, well, what do you, I said, we're here for the Mobile Tech. He says, oh, no, you're around the back of the building. So, of course, we're around the back, and there's about 20 or 30 cars. In the front, they were having a Southern Baptist hat convention, I think it was. But as it turned out, it was a great show. To get our feet wet, and it was also, everyone enjoyed it. I mean, both exhibitors, attendees, and it was more like a friendly atmosphere. It turned out, I think we had, don't hold me to it, I think it was about 700 people besides exhibitors there, and about probably 40 or 50 exhibitors. The problem that I had was that I did it in February, and I never checked the calendars or whatever, and of course it was Daytona 500 week. So Sunday, everybody just sat there in front of a TV for the entire day, you know. But I'll tell you a quick funny story. Is going over there's this old guy in a big Suburban, and he had Viagra plastered all over the truck. And my wife looks at me. I look at her. I said, well, obviously he's the stud muffin in the local mobile home park. Unbeknownst to me, when we got to the hotel, every spot was taken by, Jimmy John, all the different drivers. These people had, put graphics on their cars. I still didn't click that it was Daytona 500 weekend until Sunday, when I see all these TVs. I was like, oh, geez.
That's funny. That's good. So that was humble beginnings, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
It started in Orlando. It moved to Clearwater, and then back to Orlando. So
there was Texas in the middle.
To Texas, yes. There was the detour to Texas for 1 year.
Yeah.
And myself and Mike, we started coming during the Clearwater days.
Right.
And they were highly enjoyable. It was a great venue. I think it was at a Mormon convention center of some sort.
It was actually, the Harborview Convention Center.
Harborview, okay.
And we had to leave there basically because the city owned it, and they decided that they were going to build another condo.
Sure.
Although it never came about, but we were there for, I think it was 4 years or 5 years in Clearwater.
Yeah, it was a great venue. We had a blast there. Not discounting any other venue. They've all been fantastic throughout the years.
Yeah.
The last few years have been just fantastic. I've really enjoyed where we've been having, and I'm excited for the next one coming up.
Yeah, we're at the Doubletree, which is right across. I'm sorry, the Hilton. It was originally the Doubletree. It's the Hilton right across the street from Universal Studios. And if any of you remember the first time we were there, we had just one big room, the Universal room. As we've grown over the years, of course, it wasn't going to be adequate. So we now have two of their convention rooms. Actually, we have the entire convention center, to be honest with you.
Nice.
It's pretty neat because the restaurants and bars are right there on property. You just get in the elevator, you go up to your rooms. It's all connected pretty tight. So it should be a good venue for this year.
Plus, we're across the street from Universal, so you're closer to entertainment after the show and stuff, which is nice.
Exactly. There's a lot of restaurants you can walk to too. So
yeah, downtown Universal's off the hook. Any of you guys who go there this year, I mean, we had a great time just walking the whole downtown area. I think it's better than downtown Disney. I mean, it is really cool over there.
Yeah, it's definitely more adult leaning.
Yes, we closed down Universal one year.
That was fun.
the year that I lost my wedding ring, we were the last ones out of Universal Studio. It was us and security.
Yeah.
So, Mike, is your mic working here, buddy? I see your lips moving, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah.
It's working. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there it is now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, there I am.
Okay.
So besides all the exhibitors, there's a lot of things that you do put together at the expo, the little meet and greets and awards ceremonies and dinners and golf outings. There's a lot of things that go into the Mobile Tech Expo just besides, PDR related things.
And I don't think people really know about that kind of stuff. I don't think people know about all the mini seminars and how many mini seminars are going on there.
It's hard to say. I mean, I've never really counted them. I know that Thursday from the crack of dawn until, we have the awards presentations Thursday night. So we have what's called a tech get together the Thursday night. So it goes on from crack of dawn till about 6:30 at night, and then the awards start at 7:30. That's just one seminar. They overlap. There's so many of them. Some cases we have to get the room. We have to expand the rooms just to get the people into the doors of the different seminars. Prior to the show, there's usually about 4 seminars, and then there's usually 2 after the show. We try not to do them during the days. We do have 1 or 2 seminars, a few seminars rather, during Friday and Saturday, but we try to keep that really just for the exhibitors, for the expo hall to be open. So we try to make Thursday, when the exhibitors are moving in, education day, so that everyone can get the feel of the seminars and spend the day enjoying themselves in the seminars. And again, I think it was mentioned that new for this year, coming year, is we've added a package lunch for all the seminar attendees. So in the past, we had a few problems where people couldn't get fed in time, or they closed down the deli or the restaurant. We had a problem at this hotel originally where it was a Pizza Hut that was on site, and there was a 45-minute wait to get to the front of the line. So that way, we've now eliminated that. So it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Definitely.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin, I think me and Vince went to the first one, not first Mobile Tech Expo, but what year is that, Vince? Like 2006, 2007?
Yeah, it was about 2006. Yep. Maybe when was the first year in Clearwater?
I'm looking now because I jotted it down before I sat down, but I'm not positive. I think 2006 was the first year in Clearwater.
Okay, then it was. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I remember.
No, take that back. I'm sorry, it was 2007.
Okay. I know we were there, 2007. When we were there, I remember me and Vince could probably count how many people were there at that time. I'm not saying it was a lot. I mean, it was trickled in and yada, yada. It was consistent. But, I mean, you could count booths maybe, I don't know, 40, 30 booths. Now, how many booths you have now, Kevin?
Last year we had about 170. And I think this year we're going to be with the we also have pockets for the tabletops. So if you remember last year, they're against the wall. So although it's not just a tabletop, there's room for chairs and they can move out a little bit. We have, again, probably about 175 or close to it for this coming year, for 2017.
Now, this year was a big hail year, so I wonder if that's going to affect attendance levels. I would think it would be.
Yeah, it usually does. When it's a good hail year, then everybody seems to show up. And for all you guys that come to the show, it's more of a camaraderie. It's not really competitive as far as the Dent Olympics, and people kind of like drop their wall talking to each other at the show. And that's really what we tried to do from the very first show. First couple of years, we had issues with it. But by the third year, we had it all worked out as far as it just being a friendly show. You could be fierce competitors at home, across the street from each other. But when you come to the show, you're having beers with each other in the bar. So that's what we wanted.
Now, I heard a rumor years ago that that somebody, and I assumed it was you, that when you first started trying to do this, that we wanted to do it at SEMA. We just wanted our own section, and they wouldn't do that. Was that you?
No.
Or
No,
okay?
it was actually at NACE.
Or NACE. Sorry, NACE.
Yeah,
I was at NACE. No.
Yeah, it's true with NACE. Yeah, I wasn't interested because the problem that we had was that it was pretty obvious that we were just going to be absorbed into their mix. We couldn't get a separate section for our group. And if they did, it was really limited to not only the space, but the area that we're going to be. They're going to put us out in the back room type thing. And I thought it's just not worth it. and I just declined it.
Yeah.
So,
Good for you.
Look where it's at now.
yeah.
Oh, it's huge, and we don't obviously know the numbers really, although it what used to be recorded in the hundreds is now in the thousands to attend this. I would imagine.
Yeah, probably
Well into the thousands.
last year was probably about 6,000 roughly.
Good.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that up to 8,000 this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like last year was a bad hail year too. I mean, I remember Bryce Rockhill came and walked up to me. He's like, "Dude, this hail year's so bad. I'm surprised anybody's here." You know what I mean? I mean, there was a lot of pond Rolexes to get across down there to Florida.
But the guys that have been there, they know this show is going to make them money. They're going to meet the right person. I can't tell you how many things I've come away with, either a new tool or a new trick or meeting the right people. Met all these guys there. This show wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Mobile Tech Expo. Right. And we actually started the first tool review in our hotel room after the show. And that's how this really got born.
Right.
And
the first time I met Mike in person was at the Mobile Tech Expo.
Right.
Yeah. I want to say we started a business before we even met, like actually in person. Was probably the first year at the Mobile Tech Expo. Right?
Yeah. It's funny because every year someone will come over to me and say, "You know what? I spent a lot of money to come to the show, but I've picked up one item that they can take back and add to their menu, and basically they've paid for not only the trip but a pretty good profit in their pockets every month." And
absolutely.
It's true. And that's really the purpose of it. If the guy is doing PDR and he wants to learn how to do glass repair, or the guy does glass repair and wants to learn how to do PDR or detailing, there's an avenue that they can find what they need at the show.
Well, obviously, and then there's the networking part where, hey, this guy, he's a route tech. He wants to get into hail.
Exactly.
This guy wants to get into route, and he wants to know how to start his own home business, without everyone shares ideas and things together and whatnot. I mean, it's just a big collaboration. I know I've made tons of money just by networking with at Mobile Tech Expo, which is, I wanted to say thanks a lot, Kevin. It's friggin' truly an awesome place to be.
Right.
If you haven't been, when you step in, it's like you can feel that vibe, like, wow, oh, here's this. You always heard a lot about you, yada, yada, oh, so that's what you are. Yeah, it's just, you get a whole different perspective of somebody's personality once you see them in person.
I mean, if you remember over the years, we tried to get local schools, body shops, vocational schools to come to the show, and we were successful in doing so. And the idea was that they can see a group of guys that are competing with each other, like in the Dent Olympics, but everyone's friendly, because the type of atmosphere they're projecting in the schools is you're going to work for ABC Body Shop, or this is your field. You're going to strictly work with them. And I thought that's not right. People need to be open to do as they please. And with the PDR guys in particular, I'm not sure. I think probably you all know Kevin Bird. You all know Kevin Bird?
Yes.
From Tampa?
Yes.
Well, Kevin came to me and he said, I wanted you to come over to Whiskey Joe's, or bar in Tampa, because we're having a get together with techs from detailing, glass repair, paint, and PDR. And that first time was a little bit rough on the edges because the guys didn't know what to expect. But by the second event, matter of fact, I just spoke to him today. He's planning another one in December. It turned out better than I could ever have hoped, because what happened was the guys that are doing PDR or wherever their specialty is wanted to go on vacation. And we all know that as a single business person, you're stuck. To really get away, you've really got to plan it. And but what this did was guys that were competitors would take over each other's route for the week. And then the following month, the other guy would want to go away, they'd look after each other. And it created a trust amongst everyone. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. There's a gentleman by the name of Paul Peretta who, I don't want to get choked up. He woke up, PDR tech, woke up one morning and was paralyzed. And they couldn't figure out what it was. There's a neurological problem. And we're trying to get Paul to come to the show this year. But the guys from that group all decided, you know what, I can handle Paul's Mondays. I can handle Paul's Tuesdays. And they didn't leave him out in the cold. His business continued. And to this day, he has people that are actually just volunteering their time to take care of him. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's got to be a brotherhood. There's got to be a camaraderie. And,
Sure.
and it's working. It's definitely working. So, and that's what makes me feel great, to be able to say that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's a lot more than just that story I've heard. You know, there's been a lot of guys that have been following some tragedies, and the PDR community has come out and helped them. And I've donated things to those causes, and that's what's great about it. It really does bring us together, and it makes us stronger as a whole, and promotes our industry in the more positive light.
It does. And in my case, I'm sure you're all aware, I had a bad experience. I had a massive coronary in 2005.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was intensive care for 6 weeks, in the hospital for 7, and they didn't expect me to come out of the hospital. But during that first 6 weeks, my spleen ruptured. While I was in the hospital, I had renal failure, another massive coronary. I can't even think of all the things. And I came out of the hospital, and because I was so bad, I had to go to the thoracic surgeon for a cold. I had to go to my cardiologist for a cold, and I had to go to my, GP for the cold. So instead of it just being going and see a GP for $50 and coming away because I was an issue, the thoracic surgeon charged me, I think it was $350. The cardiologist was $250, and the GP charged me $150. And I didn't know what I was going to do because I did have a cold. And the guys had a whip round, and I got a check in the mail for like $3,700.
Nice.
And I was able to, two things. I was able to take care of myself, because basically when it was that bad, the next thing they do is knock on your door, take your house. I mean, that's how bad it was. I didn't owe thousands. I owed like well over $1 million, $1.5 million. And I was able to get to get myself back on my feet. I was able to get a treadmill, and I was able to go to the doctors when I needed to. And I'll never forget that. Never forget it.
And how is your health now?
Pretty good. I mean, I don't have full capacity with my heart. I'm a speaker for Larry King Cardiac Foundation, Pep and Heart Institute, Florida Hospital. I have a defibrillator pacemaker, and my heart infraction rate, which is what they base the muscle of your heart. Mm-hmm. Everybody walking around usually has about 65% of capacity. After the coronary, I was down to 12, and I worked it up to 19, and I got it to 29. I had stem cells, which was a big 2-year ordeal, whether or not I got them. But just recently I went back in, and I'm down to 20, but I'm still fine. I just can't do really heavy lifting and stuff. I lose my breath also in the heat here in Florida. I'm like sucking air, trying to get air in.
Sure. And that's why if you go to Mobile Tech Expo, you'll see Kevin racing around on his electric scooter, and that's why.
Yeah, you're always pimped out though. Every day during that Mobile Tech, I'm surprised. I see you and just so relaxed looking right here. So
yes, relaxed and on your feet the whole time. Every time you turn around, you're out there. You're mingling with the crowd.
And at the Mobile Tech Expo, Kevin is focused.
Yes.
I mean, you can tell that you're taking care of business, and that's a good thing because it's a well-ran show.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of bad things that you can say about it. I mean, it's just from being on a vendor side, especially. And I'll tell you, anybody who's thinking about becoming a vendor there, me and Mike did phenomenal the first year selling Dent Trainer. The second year, we did about the same. We were expecting to do more, but here was what the problem was. Half the freaking show bought Dent Trainer already. So we had the same people from the year before coming up there. Oh, man, I'm good. I'm already sold, And we were like, oh, my God, does anybody not buy this? I had Gene Fetty walk up to me. He's like, everybody here has that, man. So we had trouble finding people that hadn't already purchased it. But, man, we still killed it both years. It's phenomenal.
And we've learned a lot about the whole convention trade as well. Myself and Mike, we've gotten in trouble indirectly from you for.
That's all you, Vinny. That's Vinny.
I'm talking about suitcasing. We didn't know what suitcasing was. Kevin informed us what suitcasing was. We talked that on previous episodes. We thought, hey, we have a booth here. Let's have everyone come by and mingle and sell whatever you got.
Right.
No, that was not supposed to happen.
Because I guess you must have told everybody. The problem with suitcasing is, let's say John gets a booth, and all of a sudden you then show up and you're selling the same thing John is, but you're doing it out of a briefcase.
Sure.
Right to John, and to try and explain that to people, because constantly we have them coming from out of the country. Matter of fact, I allowed the one this past year that had the pull out board, it's like a foam, I don't know what you call it, like a foam board. Then you pull it out and it unwrapped like with the lines for you to do PDR.
Oh, was that Dave?
No, it was a guy from Germany.
Like that screen.
Screen.
Okay.
The PDR screen with the lines on it.
Right.
It's like a sunshade that you put in your windshield.
Exactly. It was like a sunshade. Yeah. And I allowed them to give them out at the show for the PDR guys that were taking part in the Dent Olympics. But then when he came in with all the cases, I thought, well, it's we got to let it. No one else is making that, so I didn't have an issue with it. But if somebody came to me and said, I'm making something similar, I wouldn't have done it. I'd have to stop it.
So can I ask you a question, Kevin? Have you ever considered, I know at some of the old concerts we used to go to, they actually had a mobile vendor pass, like a walking vendor, where somebody could purchase maybe for $250, $350, whatever the market value is, to be an actual vendor out of their backpack.
That is an issue for us, because just like you're selling your training, if this person was selling training and they get on the floor for $250, $300, and they stood next to your booth and did that, well,
that's true, yeah.
And that's what we've encountered. Matter of fact, the first years, and one of the years was was at the Twin Towers where we're going to be. We had a PDR like round table. It wasn't a round table though, and it was to discuss the industry, the new tools, different things. And I was giving people about an hour to be able to do that. There's no charge for it, but to be able to inform the industry. One person came in and he opened up a suitcase and he laid out tools, and he took out an order pad and said, "Okay, what can I get you?" And I got a lot of flack from that. I didn't know he did it until after the show. Yeah. But I did. I got a lot of flack from it, and rightly so. I should have been more aware of what he was going to do, but I wasn't. But suitcasing, I get constantly where people will come over me and let me know, and it isn't right. It's just like if I was doing a show at SEMA or whatever, and somebody was doing that to me, I'd be really annoyed over it. So yeah, we're pretty tight on making sure that doesn't go on.
Sure.
Yeah, you gotta have some rules, man. You gotta have some crackdown rules just to keep everything flowing. And like you're the one that's gonna catch all the flack. I mean, everybody gets angry and they turn to you. So over the years, I totally agree with that, man. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. So I got a question for you, Kevin. The one industry I don't see in here, and I think that would be a welcome addition, is the window tinting industry.
They used to be there. They used to be.
And I
this past year, we had one gentleman there this past year. WOTW, I think it was window tinting on wheels.
And the reason I bring it up is one of my friends is a window tinter, and he used to tint out in my shop, and I get the window tint magazine, and I see they have their own little convention, and they're having a tinting contest, and I'm like, oh man, this should be at Mobile Tech Expo, not their
It used to be. They had a window tinting contest at MTE.
There's two contests that sprouted off from Mobile Tech Expo, and that was when we first started the Dent Olympics. A young girl would come and she'd sit with a steno pad, and she'd just sit in front of the Dent Olympics for the entire time that took place. She then went back. And she did it for like about 3 years, to be honest with you. And then she went back and they started the windshield repair Olympics. And that was basically from us, watching us and taking it from there, because we had also had a glass repair contest. So we had glass repair, we had paint, tried detailing, it didn't work. But there are a few different groups that have sprouted out from Mobile Tech. And to hold people back or to say, I'm going to have an issue with it. It's not right for the industry. It's not right for them and for their audience that they have. It's just not right. So I would never do that.
Yeah, and that's one thing that also died down. I remember going to Clearwater and seeing window tinners and glass repairs there. The paint industry seems to be backing off of Mobile Tech Expo too, which I'm highly disappointed about because I have a mobile paint repair business as well. Same with Mike, and I know Speedo Coat still is diehard and showing up there every year. But that's disappointing to me seeing the paint. Ian was instrumental in having a lot of that stuff at
one of the guys that writes for us, Brad Berry, and Ian were like the judges when we were in Corpus Christi. The contest in Corpus Christi, I think it was. And we did start to get a following, and we couldn't figure out why, but the spray companies, the guns, they were all gung-ho the first year we were going to do it. And what we did was we used their guns, we promoted them, and then we also used them as the prizes for the different, first, second, thirds. And then the next year it dried up, whether it was a management change. So we went to another company, and they promised us guns, and before the show started, we didn't have any guns. So we were out trying to buy guns, and it fell apart from there. I mean,
oh sure,
we had a graphics contest. We're going to try and publish it next issue, the past winners, and that'll be everything from the very first show all the way down to last year. And you can see in there that we had vinyl graphics, we had windshield repair. We have not a contest, but we have them in there every year. So you'll see them all: graphics, paint, all of that'll be on there with it.
Oh yeah, and in Corpus Christi, my technician took second place, and he got a beautiful Awada gun. It was a $600 gun. That was second. Yeah. That was awesome.
We couldn't figure that out because Awada then pushed us over to the West Coast as far as the distribution, and then they pushed us back over to the headquarters, and it was just back and forth to the point that, well, now we're at Showtime, and I can't take the chance of not having it.
Oh sure, absolutely understood. There's a lot that goes into any of those Olympics.
So what kind of new stuff are we going to see at MTE this year? Do you get any surprises for anybody?
Yeah, just dancing elephants this year.
There's something about box lunches I heard.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, what we're doing this year, because in the past it's been an issue with everyone being able to eat during their lunch period, especially also the seminars, because by the time they got out, we would have the restaurants closed or they couldn't even get a soda. So what we decided was we spoke to the hotel prior, and we have a box lunch program so that everyone that's coming into the seminars gets a box lunch. So it'll be a full day of seminars and a box lunch. Don't hold me to it. I think it's $50 or $55 for the full day with lunch. So that should be good this year.
Yeah, that's the deal.
And how much is
it? Creme brulee.
How much is attendance? If you want to be an attendee and come to Mobile Tech Expo, what are you going to be out?
If you were to come at the door, it would be $20 for the expo for 2 days. And then if you want the seminars now, this year it will be $50 for that. So it'll be $70 for everything. If you pre-register, it's don't hold me to it because we had a big thing with the hotel, but I think it's $10 to pre-register, and then it's the same for the seminars. Though those we have to charge the rate for the lunch.
Very, very reasonable.
Is a steal. A steal. I mean, come on. Yeah. You get lunch and you're going to learn something that's going to apply to what you're going to make in your income or whatnot. I mean, one little piece helps tremendously. Yeah.
Right. And also you, I don't think we've talked much about this, and Kevin's kind of hit on it a little bit, but you also have a publication called the Mobile Tech News. And I would assume you talked about you started this. Is that did that come before the expo, or did that come after the expo, Kevin?
No, it came before the expo, probably about 6 years before the expo.
Back then, how did people register with you? Because I know nowadays you get online and you put your email in a box and all that kind of stuff. Did people actually physically send you like a card or something like that? Is that how?
Yeah, they would send. they would, believe it or not,
That is
to
awesome.
this day in my desk, I have $5 in Canadian coins that the guy had sent me to come to the expo. This is like the first or the second year. And I have two $2 pieces that I keep in my desk because I couldn't believe that it actually came through the mail. That's how he paid. But usually it was
That's awesome.
and I can't tell how many times the guy put $10, just wrap it up in his attendee form and send it in. So
that's the amazing thing. We're all working off of email, and Kevin is still rolling strong with mail, man. Because I get it every month. I get my subscription. I open it up, check it out. It sits out here. The guys come through, look through it, man. You're still doing things the old school way, but it's still steady and strong, man. I like that.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin, how do people get signed up for that subscription?
They can either go online to mobiletechnews.com and do it that way. It would be actually mobile-technews.com. And actually, you can probably do it at Mobile Tech Expo. There's also a link there to get on as far as subscribing to it. And for those that don't know about it, we do offer a free sample subscription. So you can actually send in your info right from the site, and we'll get you out an issue so you can see what it's all about. And
how much is it to buy the subscription?
Mobile Tech News is $15 a year, as is Detailers Digest. If you take both for the year, it's $28. And if you take both for 4 years, I think it's $54, something like that.
Awesome deal. Yeah.
Now, you touched on something also. You mentioned our friendly neighbors to the north. Now, this is an international.
Yes, international event.
Now, there's attendees from all over the world. I know there's Japan, Korea, Canada,
Brazil.
England, Brazil. What's the farthest, would you say?
I guess Australia from the Pacific, but we have had even Thailand. We've had a few. So they do come from basically everywhere. We've had Israel as well. So they're really, and then all over Europe. And that's also the magazine reaches out there too. So we mail them out. So that also helps.
And to ask you a question about that, Kevin, do you guys currently have a Mobile Tech Expo overseas?
Well, we did have the one in the UK. And what happened was about, I guess, close to 10 years ago, I started to build a mailing list and rapport. I went over to the UK. I met with a bunch of the guys. Matter of fact, I did a story on Mark Monks. You guys probably know Mark.
Yep.
One of the first stories. Matter of fact, Mark was like brand new in the industry, and it was really hard to talk to, if you can believe that or not. And I didn't know whether I was going to be able to get a story out of him. But he lived up in Lancashire. I'm from the county of Cheshire, which is the next county south, basically. And I was able to get the story, and then we started from there. We were able to build a good rapport with other people in the UK, and it worked. And my idea was, well, gee, I'll be able to go and see family for free, because I get a business trip back and forth.
There you go.
But things didn't work the way we had planned. We did the first show in 2014, very successful. We did the show last year, which also was successful, but there were issues between management and the company that we were using, Lumisi, which you all, I think Ray Barnard was at our show. You probably all met Ray. And he decided to do it on his own. And so I said, I'm not interested in continuing it the way you want to do it, because he had different ideas than I do. And I just said, good luck.
Well, sometimes, Kevin, you got to decide to fail fast, okay? And what I mean by that is we tie ourselves to something over and over again, and you just know it's not going to work. So you, as a business owner, entrepreneur, you're like, you know what? I don't see this going down the right path. I'm going to fail quick right here and move on to do what I do successful,
right.
My energy and effort into what I do that's successful. So I can applaud you for taking that leap, because some people, they just get stuck, Yeah,
I couldn't see that happening. I mean, we've come this far, and the whole idea was it's the techs. It's not us. It's the techs, because that's basically, it's just like when you do a show. If the exhibitors aren't happy, they're not coming back. And if you don't have exhibitors, you don't have attendees. And the exhibitors aren't coming back if there's no attendees. So it's like an orchestra leader trying to keep everybody in motion and keep everyone happy and content. And I didn't see it going the way I wanted it to, not even close. And that's why I basically, said, good luck, I'm done.
Well, I know our community has been hard on some of the vendors. A1, I think we finally got them to. Are they coming this year?
They're coming this year.
Hey,
Yeah. So they got a hard enough time on Facebook that they finally they got pressured to come finally.
Hey, they're next to the Dent trainer booth, y'all.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that. I was like, because the other booth was beside us, and I was wondering who they got it. Must have got it after we did, And we're like, cool, man. A1's right here, NAPDRT's across from us. Perfect little spot.
Now we just need to work on Blem. Let's get Blem there.
Blem came to the Blue Water Show.
Uh-huh.
And as you say, I'm old school. So besides on the computer soliciting, we actually do mail outs. So they're all basically, they get the newspapers. So, for example, A1 has been getting them from day one. And I couldn't crack it. I mean, I just thought, well, they're just never going to come. And then all of a sudden we got a call from Maria, I guess about a month ago or so. And she was all excited. I met her last year. I met her a few times, I think. But last year she was all excited about it. And she said, we're going to do it. And so, so she's in.
You be nice, Daniel. I see that smile kicking in over there, man.
No, she's great. I think she's got a great presence online.
We got to get her on the show. In fact, we should probably work on that before MTE this year.
Yeah. But, A1 was my first set of tools, and I want to see the tools in person. I just recently got some of her new aluminum tools and the molded handles, and man, are those things fantastic. Those are the best grips for a small tool that I have.
Now, the other thing, too, as a PDR technician going to MTE, the last couple years, I've shifted gears. I've taken advantage of going to the seminars for detailing. And reason being is there's a lot of times I'm a retail technician. I'm dealing with the customer's cars. I'm not dealing with the service drive or used cars or things like that. It's very important that I put out a perfect product when I'm done. And sometimes that requires doing a little bit of color sanding and polishing. And for years, I'm like, just cut and buff it and give it back to them. I'm giving it back to them with swirl marks all over the place. And I'm like, here you go. It's great. They're like, okay, the dent's gone, but my paint's all swirly and stuff. So I've been going to a lot of the detail seminars. I've been crossing over into other industries at the Mobile Tech Expo for the knowledge to better myself, to better my company, to better my industry by putting out a product that is quality and looks good and represents the PDR industry as a whole. So I encourage everyone to go learn how to color sand, go learn how to polish correctly, go learn how to use these Rupees, dual action polishers and things like that, and talk to the McGuire's reps and everyone that's there. It's such a useful place, not just for PDR, but for everything that we do on a daily basis in the automotive industry.
I definitely have to commend you on that, because the reality is when you're doing don't get me wrong, everyone wants to do perfect work, but I think it's a little bit more difficult if the guy has his quote pride and joy and has a dent in it. They've got an eagle eye. I mean, they're going to see things that you don't see. I mean, I finished the Olympics when it's over, and I stand there looking at the cars. I don't see anything, and they're still working on them. I mean, I'm like, geez. But it's more so, I think, for the retail aspect, the person that's really a car nut, the car crazy, as Barry McGuire says. And to be able to do that, to take it to that level, is a step above and beyond. It's not, as I say, hacking it for an insurance job or whatever, but it's really presenting it as a perfect repair and finish. So definitely commend you for that, because a lot of people won't do that.
I'll tell you something, Vinny, real quick. I was actually buffing a roof on a car the other day. A roof on top of a car on a truck, okay? And I'm not kidding you. Somehow compound got all the way around the car and in the windows from the other side on the armrest. Like, it flew over the car and did like a boomerang effect and came back in the car. And I'm like, Dude, I need to take a course just on how to stop compound from splattering all over the place.
Dude,
I'm not even buffing till the end of the day because I'm going to get shot up, man. I'm going to be like, bah! You're just going to see a line run through my shirt.
all right, listen, we're going to make sure you take a break from the booth and go take one of those detailing seminars.
We're trying to do two this year. We're trying to talking about something new and exciting. We're trying to get Rupees to do the Bigfoot seminar at the show, and they've gotten really great reviews from around the world. They did one in Amsterdam. They take it all over, and so we're hoping to get them in. Jason Rose, originally with McGuire's, he's now one of the trainers, and Dylan Van Osten, I think it is. He's also so hopefully we'll be able to have that for everybody too at this year's show.
Yeah,
And I have a detailer in my shop, and that's all he uses is Rupees.
Yeah. It's funny because you've got some guys that will only use Flex, some guys that will only use Rupees. And then, believe it or not, I know a couple of guys will only use Campbell Porter or Porter Campbell.
Porter cable. Yeah.
Porter Cable. Yeah. That's all that they'll use. Even though, the other machines might be better compared to what they're doing, they're just...
The Rupees have held up better under their punishment. And they haven't had as good luck with the Flex, but he uses those as well.
We do have this year because we do the silent auction for the Heart Foundations, and we do have this year a Cyclo polisher. That's two separate. It's a brand new aluminum thing with two. So that's going to be up on auction this year. So that'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, if you're polishing an Airstream, you have to have one of those.
You get
What's that, Mike?
Say that again.
Right. You get holograms.
Well, it's what all the Airstream guys will use. They use those. They actually wrap T-shirts around them when they're polishing for their final polish, and it's the only thing that will give you a mirror finish on an Airstream.
Mm-hmm. You guys ever got your T-shirt caught in a buffer?
No.
Oh, dude, it's awful. It'll roll you up like a Tootsie Roll, man. And listen, I got my T-shirt caught in a buffer, and I was like 15, 16 when I was detailing. And then remember the Mentenas used to come back off the rail, like the ones that come straight back?
Yeah.
Them wrapped up in a buffer, looking at some girls going in Well, I'm buffing, right? And I'm looking out the door, and there's this tanning studio across the street. These girls come in. Next thing you know, whack, 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 whack. I got the dog shit beat out of me, beat me on my head. I broke my finger.
Oh, wow.
Broke my finger. Wrapped the antenna around it.
Was the girl worth it?
Hey, now, here's the thing. I didn't even know this finger was broke. Back then, I used to be a hoodlum, okay? So I got in a fight the next week at the country concert and broke my other finger. And broke my other knuckle. When they did the x-ray, they're like, your finger's broke too. So I found out that week before that antenna broke my finger here, and then I ended up breaking my knuckle the next week.
So is that when you started PDR?
Yeah, you know what, dude? I wish I would have back then, because that would have been nice. But believe it or not, my brother painted the roof for us. It was from a car dealer, and he ended up actually painting the thing for me. So he don't paint anything for a case of beer.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
You guys hear me? You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Hey, you guys, we need to get into the PDR Tech Tips tool tip. Can you hear me?
Okay, well, hold on, because there's one other thing I'd like to ask Kevin that's kind of important for attendees and for people that are putting up booths as well. What is the deal with the scammers in Florida trying to get you to sign up for their can you explain that whole situation?
The hotel scam.
The hotel scam that
We get probably, I don't think I'm exaggerating if I say about 10 calls a week in regard to it. We publish it. We do put it up on the sites. And every chance we get, we'll let everyone know. Like if someone's exhibiting, we try to get it into their exhibitor packages. There was a company that started out saying they were Mobile Tech Expo, and they're a housing department or a reservations bureau, and they would contact exhibitors and attendees. We're probably one of the only shows that still give out a mailing list at the end of the show, a name list for all the attendees that have been to the show. Although in the past years, there are now people that opt out of it specifically because of this. But they get a hold of that list, or they come up with their own, and they start contacting exhibitors and attendees saying that they're either Mobile Tech Expo, last year's case, or they're the Carib Royal. And it's sad because they get one night stay from the person on their credit card, and God knows what else they do with a credit card, but they do get that, and tell the person, okay, your reservation is confirmed. When you get to the hotel, just go to the front desk and you can pay for the rest of your stay. So the guy's staying for 5 nights. He's got 4 more he's going to pay for. They then got bolder and started to ask for 2 nights because our groups were staying longer, especially the international guys. I mean, some of them were staying 2 weeks. And in that case, we have had a lot of people in Europe contacted by these scammers. The sad one was at Westgate, where this gentleman came with his family for their vacation. You know, the kids were all excited and stuff. And he gets there, he doesn't have a reservation, and no one even knows, you know, what happened. And turned out he contacted the company. It was too late. They were gone. But he was able to cancel his payment on, I think it was Visa. And they didn't get his money. But what was sad was, I mean, his entire vacation was ruined over it. And they're doing it. They call me. They call and ask for Kevin Halewood at Sun King Publishing because they don't realize that we're the ones putting on the show. And I try to get to their manager, and they yell at me. We're doing nothing illegal, and hang up. Now, there's 2 spots that they're calling from. They're either calling from Las Vegas or from New Jersey, I think it is. They go on to Global Housing, Global Housing Spectrum, and Global Reservation Systems. But they don't do that until you specifically ask them, are you really Mobile Tech Expo? And then I guess they come out and say, no, I'm with Global Housing. But it's been an issue for probably about the last 5-6 years now.
And it's not just you, it's every convention, I would think.
Yeah, the other ones hide it, but no, it is. Like, for example, I know that NACE has had it, SEMA especially because they're there in Vegas with them. But yeah, matter of fact, there was I think it was a bicycle convention at the Carib, and they contacted them as well. Yeah. So it's just, it's sad people have to go to that extreme to make a living, you know.
Sure.
But,
so I just wanted to make it known on here for whoever's watching, if you're planning on attending, make sure that you're booking through your website, which is Mobile Tech Expo.
Right.
And there's links directly on that website where you could go to book your hotel room. So you're not even dealing with anyone outside, or you could also go directly to the hotel.
The hotel. Just say that you're with MTE and you get the package. You know, you get free Wi-Fi, the different things that we've negotiated with them for. So yeah, if you tell me with MTE, they'll put you right into our room block.
I think that would be a great tech tip for Kevin. So I think Kevin's covered on that, Mike.
Yeah, unless you got a tech tip you want to throw down.
Well,
Do you have a tech tip in the
PDR? Were you guys ever in Clearwater when I did the Dent?
Yes. I was really hungover.
No, what happened? I didn't hear this. What? You did a Dent?
Yeah, they announced over the loudspeaker, Kevin's going to do a Dent in the Dent Olympics, because it was over, and they still had a couple of dents left. So I figured, yeah, I'll do it. Meanwhile, I'm wearing like a suit. I got, you know, I'm all get over there. And
Did you know how to do it?
Hell no, I didn't even know what I was doing. It was Bill Hewlett was there. He was one of the officials, and he keeps putting the tip on the dent for me, and I keep pushing in the rocker panel. I mean, I wasn't even close, and I didn't even know where I was. So I took my jacket off, and I kept doing it, and I'm determined now. I got to do something. Even though I put a tit coming out of the side of it, I got to do something. And I took my jacket off. Then I took my glasses off, and I hear behind me one guy say to the other guy, "Man, this guy sucks." The guy next to him says, "Well, what do you mean?" And he says, "Well, look at this. He can't even feed his family," the other guy says. So there's someone else that says, "Well, let me ask you a question. You ever see a PDR guy doing a dent with a suit on?" No, we just thought it was some type of new, gimmick to get people to come to their company or whatever. So the end result was I had to give up because we were out of time. We had to get the cars ready to go back. But I never did. I never pushed. I mean, I pushed, but I didn't get anywhere.
That's good.
I had a customer tell me today he was going to take a couple hours worth of training and fix his big old dent on his Mercedes fender. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I didn't think I'd have
Did you
time, but
sell
I'll
the-
probably just take a couple hours worth of training. And
So did you sell him a dent trainer?
I'll just tackle this one and all by myself. Well, he was like 80 years old. It was the interesting thing. So I'm like,
You should have sold him a dent trainer.
I probably could have, man. I probably could have. You know how I be
Hey,
selling
one
them
way or
dent trainer things, dude. Don't come talk to me. You haven't bought a dent trainer package? You probably gonna buy one. Heads up to all the listeners out there. You come talk to me at the expo. You're not on dent trainer. You're probably gonna just get your credit card ready, okay?
All right, so let's move on to tech tips.
Tech tips.
Sir,
Come out
All
with
right.
who wants to go first?
Hey, when we're ready to do this, don't worry, guys. It's recording perfectly on my side. So if you guys can't, okay. So,
All right.
here we go.
Go ahead. You want to do yours
All right.
first, Mike?
All right, I'll go first.
No, I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
I'll go first. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right. So the guys on PDR Tool Time Revolution brought this up because I brought a for tools for your sharpener, your tap down. So you go to the point, you get that little grinding wheel, you hook it up to your drill, and you can sharpen your tools. Now, I'll post that on the website PDR Tool Time, but it's Harbor Freight. I think it was like $5, and you can see it on PDR Tool Time Revolution. It's posted on there. Excuse me. Really good for sharpening your tap downs evenly and sharp and quick. So that's a quick tech tip. I have other ones, but that's it for now.
Good one.
Quick.
Go, Daniel.
Okay, my tech tip is number 1, go to Mobile Tech Expo. Number 2, plan ahead of time what seminars you're going to go see. So get on the Mobile Tech Expo website, look at all the seminars, and plan before you get there, because there's too many, and there's going to be seminars that you want to go to too, but they're at the same time, and you got to pick one. So do it way before, ahead of time. Plan your whole time there, what you want to go see, what's important to you before you get there, because trying to do it there on the spur of the moment is too hard, and you'll kick yourself because you'll miss something. So there's my tech tip.
Good advice.
My tech tip is mobile tech related also. I would say bring a debit card, bring a credit card, and plenty of vitamin C, because you're going to need your immune system at top notch, because you're going to be running around, you're going to be staying up late, talking to technicians from all around the world. There's very little sleep that goes on at least for us. I know we have a 3-hour time difference when we go. So,
but we don't change our time difference. We
don't. We don't. And then we're back up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I think I probably get on average about 3 hours of sleep at night between doing cool reviews in the middle of the night in our hotel room and having people over to our hotel room. And it's really a big family. It's a big family. It's like going home for Christmas and seeing your family. And that's what I get out of it. I go and I get to see people that I haven't seen in a year and really live it up and have a good time and learn a lot.
Well, we usually get a guest PDR tool guy to come in with his on the robe, Kevin. I don't know if you know that, but every year we get a guy that comes in. We're all dressed in our robes, and we have our alcohol, and then last year it was Carl Stuckey, and
we have all the tools laid out that we bought that day.
We bought out, and then we talk about it, and then we interview one of the tool guys.
It's kind of like a pajama party.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't go because I don't hang out with a bunch of dudes in robes. You know what I mean? But hey, that's just me. My beard is too sexy for these guys, and I mean, I don't want to go across that line with them. Sorry.
Yes.
So,
sorry, guys. You can't see my sex.
John, do you have a tech tip?
I do. I want to talk about something a little bit. You guys covered the Mobile Tech Expo. It's wonderful. It's badass. Definitely go. But I want to talk to you guys about something that I really think is going to be emerging in people that are a little bit older. Currently, the younger generation is tapping into something called Snapchat. And I really see a future with a way to build a connection with your customers that they can get to know, like, and trust you through this app. And I'm telling you, when you first get into Snapchat, you're like, oh my God, what is this? And the more you fool around with it, you realize that to this day and age, everybody has a short attention span. And I'm telling you, Snapchat is like the antidote to that. They're literally 10-second videos, little snaps throughout your day. It's a way, and it doesn't save it on your cell phone. That's the great thing about it. So if you can find a way to get your customers or your peeps out there to follow you on Snapchat, you're going to build a relationship that's much different than I've seen on the levels of Facebook or on the levels of Instagram. It is just your everyday stuff, just little snaps. And people can actually follow your life and get to know, like, and trust you. Speaking of that, hit me up at Dent Magic J. So it's Dent Magic and then a J. On Snapchat, follow me. I'll follow you back. And I'm really digging this thing. And I see this being an up and coming platform. I mean, if anything, learn how to use this platform because it's going to be happening. I'm telling you.
Yeah, my niece in Chicago, she's actually leaving Discovery Channel to go work for Snapchat.
Dude, it's awesome.
They're based out here in Venice, California. I've been by their headquarters. It's pretty neat. And I've been using Snapchat, but just for personal stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing like that platform, Vinny. It's like a real world conversation. So when you leave a snap or you leave a story, it disappears, right? A real world conversation, if I talk to you right now, it doesn't hang, it disappears. So when people snap you, you get to see it and then it disappears. And then they also got a 24-hour story so people can follow you for 24 hours. But it's just only 10-second videos, man. It really teaches you how to minimize your marketing or just the fun that you have or just – in fact, you shouldn't even be marketing on Snapchat. You should just be letting people have a little piece of your life, a little piece of what you're doing. And they get to know, like, and trust you, and you can build that relationship and hopefully entertain each other a little bit during the process.
There you go, Kevin. Tech tip for you on Mobile Tech. There's Snapchat everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
There you go.
I mean, my problem, guys, is I have a smartphone, but a dumb operator.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back to the flip phone.
I can't say we weren't worried about your technical abilities when we found out you had an AOL address still, Kevin.
Well, I do have Gmail and I have a couple others, but this is like the first email I ever had, so I just stick with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
My kid's looking like I got two heads, and that's the big joke. I saw him bring his friend over, and he'll say, "Man, he's more than old school. What do you mean? Well, we still got an AOL email." And the kid stands there looking at me like, "You really have an AOL email?" I said, "Yeah, I do."
I know. I was going to tell the guys, I'm like, maybe we should start an AOL chat room for this today.
Yeah.
You guys remember them things?
Well, Kevin, I want to thank you for coming on and talking with us. This was great. And look forward to seeing you at Mobile Tech Expo. Thanks for everything you do. You've changed every tech's life. I think you really have touched the community, and we owe you a lot. And just want to say thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
And hang out for a minute while we close the show.
Sure.
All right. Hey, and Daniel, what do you say?
Level up your tools.
And join the revolution. Hit us up on our Facebook page.